One of the most polluted, toxic, and historic bodies of water in New York City may finally be on the road to recovery. Coney Island Creek was deemed the dirtiest body of water because of its high concentration of sewage and toxic matter. It is now being investigated by the Economic Development Corporation to find a solution to prevent flooding. The creek was responsible for most of the damage in the area during Superstorm Sandy. A community meeting was held to receive some input from locals about building floodgates or tidal barriers, but residents were skeptical.
The tidal barrier is a regulatory nightmare. It will be decades before it's built, if ever.
I'd rather see a natural plan over floodgates.
I don't blame anyone for being skeptical of any type of man-made government structure. There is a lot of history in that creek. And I've always said that in order to address our future, you have to address the past. For decades, the city never had a permit, and they burned garbage, and all that toxic ash fell into the bay and fell into the creek.
After years of illegal dumping, parts of the creek were filled in to connect Coney Island to the rest of New York City. But now the creek couldn't flush itself out, so the narrow dead end became a stagnant pool of toxic sludge.
There are some wicked sediments down there that are heavily toxic.
There's coal tar, still benzene.
We found mercury, arsenic, lead, some of the worst toxins known to man in very high concentrations.
While the narrower part of the creek is extremely polluted, the mouth of the creek has essentially become a rusting ship graveyard. Locals have told me that people used to leave their old ships here to rust or even set them on fire because it was easier than getting rid of them properly. The ships, along with an infamous yellow submarine, now serve as an attraction for some, an eyesore for others, and an artificial reef for marine life.
The water quality certainly sustains life. There are bluefish and there are horseshoe crabs.
But the creek doesn't only attract fishermen. A few divers have investigated the creek from within and found some surprising things.
We actually found 2 historical shipwrecks that we still need to investigate.
We found that in 1954, a ship called the USS Bennington was returning home from Europe after World War II, and one of its missile barges capsized into Gravesend Bay, spilling thousands of missiles and bombs all over the bay. The Navy sent a team of divers, but they couldn't find them all. So in addition to the toxins and chemicals you have buried deep in the bay and by the creek, you have bombs from World War II.
Councilman Traeger says that's why he's been fighting the city's proposal to build a garbage dump station by the bay. He says it will dredge up the bottom and possibly trigger one of these bombs, which may still be live. But residents are more concerned about the city's inaction on flood prevention. Most oppose a floodgate plan, but what is the alternative?
We have an opportunity to let wetlands do what wetlands naturally do, abate floods.
Despite everything that's happened, despite our worst efforts, this creek is still alive and there's still a lot worth saving in it.
Hannah Kleiger reporting from New York City.